while we're waiting for State of Decay 3, you know, who knows how far away we are from this game releasing to the world, right? It's hard to say. It could be this year, it could be next year, it could be 2027. We really don't know. Now, the belief is that a lot of people think we're going to get it next year. I don't think we're getting it next year. I think we're going to hear more about it next year, but I think it'll be 2027 when it releases to the world. If it comes out in 2026, awesome, dude. I would love that. If it came out this year and it got shadow dropped, that would be absolutely wild. And if it comes out in 2027, well, we've got some time to wait here. Look, the building blocks are there for State of Decay 3. There's no doubt. I mean, it's right there. I think that there's a number of things that they can improve on to improve player experience, to improve the game, even outside of the graphics, which we all know the graphics are going to be absolutely incredible. But I think that first trailer for State of Decay 3 showed zombie wildlife.
It's not much, but it has 4 walls.
It showed change of season. I think those are 2 huge things.
It's not ideal, but I think
And
that's what
then
we have to do.
the second trailer showed a lot more of like the same stuff that we've seen over the years and become accustomed to. So
I feel pretty bad.
I think there's some real positives here, you know, that you can take from the first couple of games. I don't think you need to drastically change the formula, because I think it's going to be the biggest zombie survival simulation game we have ever seen. And I don't even think it's going to be close. What difficulty are you on? It is the... What is it, normal? I wanted to start with... Because I haven't started the game over in a while, and so I wanted to start on the second highest difficulty, and then as we go, because we're probably going to have... I don't know. We're more than likely we're going to have a lot of time to play through the campaign multiple times, play through the Daybreak, Heartland, you know what I mean? And so I wanted to kind of like, you know, get back into the groove of it, because it's been a little while since because the last time I played SOD2 was, we were playing like Daybreak, a number of us. And so, kind of just getting back into the story, back into the lore, all that stuff. When you're first starting this game, I'm thinking, oh yeah, we've got like max stamina, max everything, and it's like, bro, your character just started. We're in the very beginning stages of this thing. Yeah, so we got to build. I mean, you when you're first starting with State of Decay 2, you know, because it's been a little while, guys, since I started from scratch with the campaign. And it does take you a little while to kind of get into the groove of everything. But once you kind of get everything rolling, bro, it becomes pretty fun at that point. You know, here's a question for you guys, though. For State of Decay 3, what do you guys think Undead Labs could do to make it even, like, not easier, but make it like even less confusing when it comes to crafting or your community or whatever for new players coming in to State of Decay 3? Because part of what I think is going to happen is State of Decay 1 and State of Decay 2 are going to get ported to PlayStation 5. I think they're going to do that. That could very well happen next year, where both the first 2 games go onto PlayStation, kind of like what Gears of War did with Gears of War Reloaded. And obviously you have Gears of War E-Day next year. And then I would say State of Decay 3 will get a update or probably a release date, gameplay trailer at the Xbox Game Showcase in whatever, summer of 2026, probably June. But what do you think are some ways that Undead Labs could make it even easier for new people coming in? Because I think about it like, dude, I've been playing State of Decay for a minute. Look at this guy over here, bro. Dude, what is happening, brother? But anyways, I'm just wondering, like, what are some ways in which Undead Labs could make it kind of catching people up on, like, what State of Decay is all about, especially if they've never played, like, the first 2 games and they're just jumping into State of Decay 3. What could be some ways that it's improved upon That being like understanding the mechanics, understanding like all of the crafting to how all that stuff works. Because sometimes, I remember when I first pulled up State of Decay 2, I was like, bro, there's a lot going on here. Now, obviously, since then, we've had a lot of other games that have come out where the crafting and everything else is like next level. There's so much stuff going on. But anyways, I'm just wondering what you guys think about that. What would be some ways that Undead Labs can improve the experience for State of Decay 3? You know what I mean? Moving into that title, whether it's 2026, 2027. I'd be really interested to hear from you guys on that. And I mean, I really hope that they make the zombie animations like way better in State of Decay 3. And I think it's reasonable to expect that that's going to happen, but I just really want State of Decay 3 to have some zombie animations where it could even remind you of like Dead Island 2, those zombie animations, or like Dying Like the Beast. I mean, those zombie animations look unreal, bro. And so I'd love to see that as well. The problem is I went over here without having... You know what I'm saying? Like, my dude is tired. You can tell. Alright, well, we don't have a vehicle, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa, buddy. Relax, mademoiselle. Cardio's going up, but he's gotta take a nap, guys. This has been a tough day for our guy Jeff, alright? Jeff's been having a tough one. We gotta get Daniel's stamina up. We gotta get, you know, all of it, right? We gotta get him some weapons. Whoa.
Finish that one off.
Bro, let's go, dude. Come over here. Dude, are you really gonna fight these guys right now, bro? We're all like, we are completely out of gas. Like, let's go, Nina. Hey, bro, you look just like me, dog. Are we... How you doing? What's happening, bro? We want to form an alliance. Should we do an alliance or join us? I feel like we need to create an alliance here. Yours chosen. Hey man, just curious, do you think having zombies who aren't able to run will more of a rush like in State of Decay 1 and 2? They always made me glad to survive every Zed encounter. Who aren't able to run. I've always been a believer, man, that having like a multitude of variety in terms of zombies is the most important thing. Like, you just, with a game like State of Decay, you don't want to get bored. You don't want there to be a moment where it's like really, really boring or just slow, or like the encounters you're getting with other zombies, it just feels repetitive, right? And so we've seen a lot of games in the past where we've had this, and I'll give you an example of a game where I thought that yes, you fought a lot of the same types of creatures and things of that nature, but like it still to me felt fresh because of the environment, was the Callisto Protocol. A lot of people gave that a hard time though, because they felt like, oh, the Callisto Protocol is, you're playing the same types of, you know, zombie variants or creature variants over and over again. But with the ever-changing like environment, I thought it was a compelling experience. With State of Decay, I think they've got a number of different types of zombies, but like, this is the thing. Moving into State of Decay 3, there has to be innovation. If we have no innovation, then the game is, I feel like there's going to be somewhat of a complacency. So like, I'll give you an example. In the first State of Decay 3 trailer, we got like zombie wildlife. We saw the deer that was a zombie. I think that's going to be huge for State of Decay 3 to have zombie wildlife. That adds an element where if I'm just exploring with my, you know, community and stuff like this while we're taking on, you know, plague hearts and we're exploring, right? Now you've got zombie animals. That'll be really compelling. Another thing would be change of season. I think that's going to be really important, which we saw in the first trailer, not in the second trailer. So, you know, to answer your question, I think that having a variety is the most important thing. Whether there's a bunch of zombies that run at you, zombies that walk at you, zombie deer, zombie dog, zombie, like, you know, a whole variety of different kinds, I think is really important. It's important that we give proper feedback to the developers, like Undead Labs and stuff, of the things that we want to see in the third game, you know? Because obviously, they have, like, I look at it like State of Decay 2 and State of Decay 1, I look at it as, okay, they've created, like, a sandbox of zombie simulation title where it's, like, kind of pretty, like, it feels base level, where there's easily a number of ways that they could go to improve the player experience, the story, the horde mode, the multiplayer, co-op. I mean, all these different elements, right? Graphics, obviously. And I think that they will. I think that there's a lot of things that we can, though, as the community, we can give in terms of feedback for the future of the franchise. So I'm excited about that. Still love it. The graphics are sick, dude. Like, I mean, even though, like, yeah, it's back in, what, 2018 when this game came out? It's just a cool world. Dude, this thing is such a speed demon when it comes to shifting and everything. Oh, bro. Joe, is State of Decay coming out in 2025? Well, if you're thinking in relation to State of Decay 3, probably not, unless it gets shadow dropped, which would be the craziest thing on the planet, man. I don't believe it's going to get shadow dropped. I think we're going to be seeing State of Decay 3 at the Xbox Game Showcase of 2026. That'll be the next time that we hear from them. They just, it's been radio silence, and, you know, I don't believe that we're going to see or hear anything from, you know, Undead Labs until that happens. The Xbox Game Showcase, I think we'll get a release date as well as gameplay at the Xbox Game Showcase of 2026. I believe Gears of War E-Day will be releasing in 2026, but I think State of Decay 3 is going to be releasing in 2027. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just what I think. I feel like the developers over, you know, obviously Undead Labs, you know, Xbox Game Studios, they are going to want to make sure that everything is spread out enough. So, like, if Gears of War E-Day comes out next year, October 2026, like Halloween release, you know, you would think State of Decay probably would want to be a October or September release as well, but I just don't think that they're going to release their two big titles like that, especially a flagship like Gears, really close to State of Decay. So I think State of Decay is going to get pushed to 2027. But once again, though, man, I don't think... could we hear something around Christmas time this year? Like, could they post something on their social media or something of that nature? Sure. I just don't think that it's going to get shadow dropped this year. I don't think we're going to... I don't think we're really going to hear anything from Undead Labs or, you know, anything from State of Decay until next year. Go, bro. Dude. Brother. Why are we not moving? Is this thing destroyed right now?
I'm pretty roughed up.
Somehow it just worked. Somehow that just worked. That's a good starting point. I think that it's awesome. Like, I love that this is, you know, a game that we're going to be able to play now for, and, you know, we have been playing for a while now, but starting over the campaign, and then, of course, we're going to go into, you know, Heartland, and then into Daybreak, and all of that stuff. I want to go ahead and transition to a number of these, but, you know, I think while we're waiting for State of Decay 3, what we need to focus on is keeping the fire burning over and over and over again in terms of State of Decay 2. You know, as we're waiting for State of Decay 3, creating content, talking about it, you know, in forums and things of that nature, talking about State of Decay 2, talking about State of Decay 3, talking about State of Decay as a franchise is really important, because the longer that we keep the fire burning, the more opportunity that we have as a community to see this thing absolutely explode when State of Decay 3 comes out. I think that's kind of the goal in mind, is to, you know, get State of Decay 3 and State of Decay as a franchise to the point of where we have games like Gears of War, Halo, being a flagship IP for Xbox. State of Decay is next, and I believe that State of Decay 3 is going to see that happen. And so we just got to keep the flame burning as long as we possibly can in the meantime. But I'm really excited about the future, guys. I think that State of Decay, you know, has a real opportunity to be one of the biggest, you know, if not the biggest zombie simulation horror titles on the planet. And I'm really excited to be covering it for you guys, and we'll be covering it from head to toe, guys, in the future on the YouTube channel. New content, guys, you can see very regularly on the YouTube channel. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And then everything State of Decay 3 related in horror games, keep it right here with Horror Theory. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure that you leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, just keep grinding, and as always, I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace.